In our current society, choosing your passion doesn't equal your best life. Why is it that people are often told to choose their passion and work despite what type of life that this decision-making could create? Why is it that people stay at jobs although they are miserable? How do we balance our passions and our income to achieve equilibrium in a market full of constantly changing demands? In this episode, we're going to touch on these issues and hopefully change or affirm your perspective in a way that aligns with healthy living. The labor market is in a constant state of flux in certain areas, especially with COVID-19 factored in. Determining what income you desire long-term starts with identifying what you want and combining that with the labor market needs. If you'd like to know more about what the labor market needs, refer to the Bureau Labor of Statistics for more information. Now, oftentimes, it's possible you may find yourself disappointed because, quote, your passion will not supply you with the income that you desire, especially if you have particular financial desires. There are a number of ways around this, and it starts with self-reflection and a deep understanding of one's own psychology. If you find yourself in such a position, understanding what about your passion is fulfilled in your psychology and what skills are used in your quote passion are the first steps to being able to transfer your passion. What does transferring your passion mean? It means identifying the skills and the psychology behind the work that you love doing and transferring that into something the economy needs to achieve a specific goal and lifestyle. Once these elements are identified, then transferring your passion to an occupation that is in high demand with projected job growth, ideally, is the next step. Let's think back to the first episode, changing the narrative for this concept. The mind is powerful, and as long as we meet its core needs, we can completely change our perspectives on what our passion should be. I will note, a higher income is associated with so many positive health outcomes, including, but not limited to, lower mortality rates, lower rates of divorce, lower rates of domestic abuse, lower rates of mental health issues, etc. It grants you access to financial resources and social resources. Most of us know what financial resources are and what that entails. Many of us, however, do not know about what social resources are. Well, social resources is defined as, quote, any concrete or symbolic item that can be used as an object of exchange among people, end quote, from the National Center for Biotechnology Information. When we factor how financial income relates to social resources, we can look at the example of you having good rapport with your neighbor who owns a boat. Depending on what you can leverage concerning your resources, let's say, for example, if you have dirt bikes or a different kind of boat, you two can trade on occasion. In essence, you have greater access to more resources because of the place you live, work, etc. is all correlated to who you know and who you're around. I say this to affirm that finance, to a certain degree, is correlated to a healthy outcome. Let's dive into the physical benefits of choosing the proper passion. Choosing the proper passion will, on average, place you in a safer neighborhood due to the choices and affordability factors of picking something generating a certain income brings in. Living in a better neighborhood means that the crime rate will be reduced. Reduced crime rates means that the resources will be better protected. It also means that the chances of bodily harm in relation to a crime will be lowered significantly. In addition, perks like cleaner air, better parks, and schools all contribute to your health and that of your loved ones. A safer neighborhood equals more developed communities because people will feel safer and more willing to get to know each other and distribute resources. Where you live is strongly correlated to the lifestyle that you will endure. Choosing the proper passion in your career is a key part of this type of outcome. Choosing the proper passion will grant you greater access to healthcare due to the current income and that choosing the proper passion will generate. The healthcare access or work benefits are likely to be better as opposed to otherwise. Better healthcare means increased access to higher quality hospitals. This means statistically greater outcomes when faced with dire health circumstances. Greater access to healthcare quality also increases the amount of healthcare resources that are available. This means greater statistical health outcomes. Let's dive into the mental health portion of this podcast. Choosing the proper passion will align yourself with your higher self. What do I mean when I say this? I'm referring to the you that is in your head that understands whether or not you are living up to your potential. Greater alignment psychologically means that you feel that you are doing the work that you desire to do. This will relieve stress that many people put into wondering what could have been or what they need to do to get closer to their desired passion job. See Psychology Today to understand how fear of the unknown can affect you and bring about anxiety. This creates a greater workload on the mind, and depending on the feeling, it can spur a multitude of decisions that can often create a negative impact. And what's creating that greater workload on the mind? Fear of the unknown, or thinking about the work that you have to do to get closer to your passion job. Now, being aligned with your proper passion will grant you a greater chance at being at peace and thus making it easier to regulate emotions and your psychological health monitoring. Choosing the proper passion will relieve you of the stress that finance can have on your psyche. Having to penny pinch is something we all have to do from time to time. However, doing so long-term can create long-term stress on the mind and cloud it as a result. A clouded mind means that the decision-making process is not at the adequate or maximum IQ level that is possible. This can make it harder to think of what moves can be made to increase income or arrive at a position where penny pinching isn't necessary. This stress can manifest itself affecting you inwardly or outwardly affecting others. Choosing the proper passion will affect how you treat yourself and others simply due to the psychological impact. Now let's move on to the spiritual portion of the podcast. Choosing the proper passion can help your soul feel as though the work is easier and more enjoyable. In this regard, most of us have heard the saying, if you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. This is simply referencing the fact that if your work is aligned with your purpose, the burden is easier to bear, meaning the spirit is okay with dealing with the pros and cons of that particular occupation. This brings a greater sense of peace to the soul. This is the goal of everyone's soul, to have peace. Choosing the proper passion can allow your soul to grow in ways that you desire both immediately and long term. It increases that maximum cap that is possible. The soul desires evolution, and when it is put on hold for an occupation that does not align with our soul, it can stifle this process. Although it is possible for you to work a job that, quote, pays the bills, and in the meantime, while you prepare for your future career, the soul, due to the time available, will not be able to grow to its highest level, as opposed to if that process is started now and continued into the future. This is the case even outside of this particular area of the soul. The more time you have to work at something's development, the further you can go ultimately. Let's close. Choosing the proper passion is important. It's key to health in many aspects. The psychology behind it is manageable and key to transferring your passion into something that brings in the desired income and lifestyle. In order to do it, one must have a deep understanding of self. If understanding of self is an area that you struggle with, I recommend reading and annotating the psychology book titled Personality by Jerry Berger. Additionally, it all comes down to what financial and what lifestyle that you desire to live. As long as we have this understanding, the outcome of those choices will be experienced without being disturbed emotionally or spiritually. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike and I'm the audio editor for Knowledge for the Soul. I'm so happy to be working on this podcast with Kevin, and I hope it will bring some modicum of peace and understanding in your lives. This time of year is busy for both of us, so we'll be taking a short break to spend some time with the family for the holidays. We will be returning in February with a brand new episode of Knowledge for the Soul, so the wait won't be too long. Happy holidays to you all, and as always, I will let Kevin close us out.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and for entertaining my perspective. I believe that this information is life transformational. Feel free to email the team at kfs@gmail.com or follow us on our socials. Our Twitter is at KFS Podcast, as is our Instagram. On Facebook, you can find us under Knowledge for the Soul. We will be taking episode feedback, topic requests, and special guest requests. I love learning, and I love to help others. Till next time, take care. This has been another great episode of Knowledge for the Soul.